shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Our weather pattern begins today with a level 1 risk for severe storms across much of the area. I'll show you the timeline for the thunderstorms.
And today, diversity, equity, and inclusion policies are set to be repealed at UNC system schools. How students plan to show leaders these policies are important to them.
And today is the start of a busy travel period as we head into Memorial Day weekend. How many people are expected to fly or hit the roads? It is 4:30. Good morning, everybody, on your Thursday. Before you hit the road, we appreciate you checking in with us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, the busiest Memorial Day possibly ever at RDU is what they're saying. We'll get into that for you today. But you know you're going to be looking outside to those travel conditions. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with that risk that covers our area.
It does. It looks basically the same as yesterday. If you happen to be following along, we have this level 1 risk. Those storms are likely to start fairly late today. But if you're headed out for vacation starting this evening, you're going to run into some of those storms. And the same thing again on Friday. We don't have a level 1 risk for Friday, but we'll still have those thunderstorms that could cause some issues. We have clear skies this morning, though. It's nice out there. Temperature, though, 71. If you remember a couple of days ago, we were starting in the 50s. So that's a big change. You'll notice the warmer temperatures. And our dew point is already at 62, which is not terrible, but it definitely is a little bit stickier. That's all because our wind is now coming out of the south. As we get through the day today, we're going to see partly cloudy skies. You can see that through lunchtime and early afternoon. At 5 o'clock, we're still on the drier side, but into the evening, you can see these scattered storms that start to pop up. And again, we have the potential for some of those to be strong to severe. We could see a few of those lingering into tomorrow morning. You could see a few isolated showers and then the chance of some scattered thunderstorms during the day on Friday. And it goes on and on. We'll see that again Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So moving into just a more wet pattern with those scattered showers and storms. Heading out the door this morning, temperatures are in the mid 60s to low 70s, and we'll see a high of 92. That ties the hottest temperature that we've seen so far this year. And then for Saturday, we're also looking at the chance of some scattered storms. We have a level 1 risk, and I'll show you the details of that coming up.
With breaking news this morning, a man is in the hospital after being hit by a car in Smithfield. Nick Perlin joins us from the WRL Breaking News Tracker to tell us that man was riding a bike at the time.
At around 3 this morning, law enforcement had this stretch of Bridge Street closed off behind me after they say a car hit a bicyclist. Now, I do want to show you this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. You can see that car here with its hazards on, and you can also see crews examining that bike before loading it into a truck. We're told the biker was taken to the hospital, and we're also told the driver of the car stayed on scene to cooperate with the investigation. We're still trying to learn how the bicyclist is doing and if any charges will be filed. Reporting in Smithfield, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
Today, diversity, equity, and inclusion policies at all UNC system schools are set to be repealed. The UNC Board of Governors will make its final vote. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from the UNC system office in Raleigh. Kelsey, students plan to gather this morning to show leaders why they feel these policies are important.
Renee, that's exactly what we're expecting. We'll probably see dozens of students here in a few hours to express their concerns. And today's vote comes after debate about diversity, equity, and inclusion policies among state lawmakers. Those have been happening for weeks. Democratic leaders held a news conference yesterday. They argue DEI has made students from an increasingly diverse North Carolina feel welcome. If the policy change goes through, not only would DEI goals and initiatives be removed, several DEI-related job positions would be changed or eliminated.
It is troubling to see the continued politics being played with important state institutions.
Now, Republican leaders say repealing these DEI policies would be the right move. They say that it would save the state millions of dollars in funding. So we'll be sure to stay on top of what comes out of the Board of Governors meeting today and keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Good morning. I'm Chris Lovingood in the WRAL Live Center, showing you some video just into the newsroom within the past 20 minutes or so. This is on Parkland Road and Renfro Drive in Raleigh, where firefighters were called to an apparent structure fire that happened there. Our photojournalist on the scene talked to someone who says they called 911 and they believe that this is an abandoned garage, but that's what we're trying to confirm with investigators this morning. You can see that firefighter there spraying the hose to put out the flames there and the smoke still billowing. We're also trying to work with investigators to figure out what exactly started this fire. Stay with WRAL News as we try to get you the latest on this story.
Thanks for that, Chris. Durham police are working to learn whether two drive-by shootings that left 3 juveniles hurt are connected. Police were called to Ash Street last night about 7:30, and responding officers say they found 2 juveniles who were shot from a passing car. Both were taken to the hospital and are expected to survive. About an hour before that, at 6:30, officers responded to Morning Glory Avenue, and this is video of Sky 5 from that scene. A teenager says he was walking along the street when someone shot at him from a car. He went to the hospital and is expected to recover.
You might be getting ready for your trip this Memorial Day weekend, and so are millions of others. Today kicks off the busy holiday travel period. The FAA predicts this weekend will be the most traveled Memorial Day in 14 years. Nearly 54,000 flights across the U.S. will take off today alone. The TSA says they will likely screen 18 million people between now and next Wednesday. If that's the case, it would be a 6% increase compared to last year. The TSA says May appears to be a hot travel month. 4 of its all-time busiest days took place this month.
Today, city leaders in Durham will take a look at crime data from the first quarter of 2024. Numbers show from Durham PD that there were 6 homicides between January and March, down from 14 during the same time last year. There were 40 rapes, down from 50 last year. Aggravated assaults are up from 272 in 2023 to 287 this year. City Council will discuss the numbers with Police Chief Patrice Andrews during a work session at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
New this morning, at least 9 people are dead and rescue efforts are underway after strong winds toppled a stage at a campaign rally in Mexico. This happened in Nuevo León. Video shows the moments right before the collapse. Presidential candidate Jorge Alvarez Maínez and his team can be seen running for cover as the structure falls. At least 50 people are injured. Rescuers are working to save people trapped under the stage. We'll continue to keep you updated as the story develops. Robinson
County Sheriff's deputies are investigating after 2 people were shot. It happened near Iron Horse Drive and Nolly's Drive yesterday afternoon. Investigators say the shooting did not occur at Purnell Sweat High School and has no connection to any events being held at the school. There are no details on a suspect or the victims this morning. Anyone with information is asked to contact the sheriff's office. We're waiting to learn the identity of the man who drowned in the Neuse River. Crews recovered his body last night around 7 after a 6-hour search. Witnesses say the man was hanging out on the Neuse River Trail with his family when he went for a swim and then did not resurface. A man who was responsible for taking care of young children is now charged with secret peeping at an elementary school. Raleigh police arrested 22-year-old Kawan Haywood yesterday. He was a YMCA employee who was working for after-school programs at Wiley Elementary School. The school's principal says the alleged incidents happened last month. Court documents show one minor was among the victims. Parents of kids at Wiley Elementary say this has left them worried.
My main concern is who they're going to be interacting with. Who are they really interacting with? That's all he done. Is this the first time that this has happened? Has it happened before and he's never got caught? YMCA says it fired Haywood and is cooperating with Raleigh police in their investigation. Cleanup will continue today in Texas after severe storms moved through the area, spawning several tornadoes. This is video from a mall in Temple where strong winds shattered windows. Temple is about an hour outside of Austin. There are also reports of downed power lines and downed trees. City officials have asked people to stay home if they can. Road conditions are dangerous, closed, or impassable. So far, no deaths have been reported. Today, Live Nation is expected to face an antitrust lawsuit from the Justice Department. It could lead to changes in how you buy tickets in the future. The lawsuit alleges antitrust violations because of Ticketmaster's dominance in the business. Live Nation owns Ticketmaster. The industry came under intense scrutiny after glitches blocked millions of people from getting tickets to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
Critics say that shed light on how a lack of competition has led to poor customer service, confusing pricing, and expensive fees. We're working to learn whether North Carolina will be part of this lawsuit.
Lawmakers in the state house have voted against a ban on masking up in public. It previously passed in the Senate. The House decision was quick yesterday and had bipartisan support. Opponents of the bill argued those with weakened immune systems would be at risk under a universal mask ban without exceptions.
A funeral service will happen today for Raleigh philanthropist Assad Maimandi. The service is set for 2 o'clock this afternoon at Christ Episcopal Church on East Edenton Street. Maimandi died May 10th, one day shy of his 90th birthday. His name appears on the Maimandi Concert Hall in Raleigh that serves the North Carolina Symphony.
UCLA is changing police leadership after violent protests on campus. We'll tell you about the school's decision to reassign the police chief.
Plus, a response from teammates after Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker's controversial commencement address.
And this is a live look at North Hills right now. It's going to be very warm for much of the day, and storms are on the way tonight. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will time that out for us.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:43, taking a look at the big picture. We have a slow-moving front out to the west, some showers and storms ahead of that across parts of the deep south, even some ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings. We do have a level 1 risk for severe storms for most of our viewing area today, and the best chance of that comes fairly late, down around the time of the evening commute and into the evening. Damaging winds, heavy rain, even a little bit of hail are possible with that. Again, the rain doesn't start until late. We may see some in our northern counties starting as early as 3 or 4 o'clock, and then that will gradually slide across the area this evening up until midnight or maybe even the early morning hours. We'll take a look at that coming up on Futurecast. It is clear this morning and temperatures are warm, anywhere from the mid 60s to low 70s as you're stepping out the door. And our highs today are definitely going to be hot, a high of 92.
Police in Pennsylvania are working to figure out why a man opened fire at a company where he worked, killing 2 employees and injuring 3 others. This happened yesterday morning at the local linen company, which is located west of Philadelphia in the city of Chester. Authorities arrested the suspected shooter in a nearby city. He has not been named and a motive has not been determined. The victims have not been named either, and the people injured are being treated at a hospital in the area.
The University of California, Los Angeles made a change in police leadership weeks after campus protests turned violent. UCLA Police Chief John Thomas has been reassigned, according to a statement released by the university. The university did not say if the move is permanent. On April 30th, law enforcement stood by for hours as counter-protesters attacked a pro-Palestinian encampment. A criminal investigation into the incident is underway now.
Aviation investigators are trying to figure out why a plane took a sudden dive during severe turbulence, hurting dozens of people and leaving 1 passenger dead. Singapore Airlines says the jet dropped about 6,000 feet in 3 minutes during a flight from London to Singapore. A 73-year-old British man died of a suspected heart attack. About 20 people who were on the plane are still in the hospital in Bangkok, where the plane made an emergency landing.
Families of the victims of the Uvalde school shooting have reached a settlement with the city. It comes days before the 2nd anniversary of the mass killing at Robb Elementary School in Texas that left 19 students and 2 teachers dead. 19 families of the victims have reached a $2 million settlement with the city. In addition to the settlement, the city pledged to roll out changes to the police force, including a new fitness for duty standard.
For the first time, a study finds more people are consuming marijuana on a daily basis compared to alcohol in the United States. According to data, 40% of cannabis users report daily or almost daily use. It's roughly 18 million people compared to 14 million people who drank alcohol as often. The study does say alcohol is still used more widely in general.
Kansas City Chiefs players and coaches are defending Harrison Butker's character while saying they don't necessarily agree with him. Butker is facing criticism after his commencement speech at a Catholic university in Kansas included anti-LGBTQ and anti-feminist comments. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and coach Andy Reid were both asked about it during a media session yesterday.
And he's trying to do whatever he can to lead people in the right direction, and that might not be the same values as I have, but at the same time, I'm going to judge him by the character that he shows every single day.
We all get along. We all respect each other's, opinions, and not necessarily do we go by those, but we respect everybody to have a voice.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell was also asked about Butker's comments yesterday. He said the NFL's players have a diversity of opinions, and that's something we treasure.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is now banned from all tribal lands in her home state. 9 tribes with reservations stretching across South Dakota began banning Noem after she made comments earlier in the year saying tribal leaders were profiting off drug cartels in the state. Noem is now barred from setting foot on tribal land. She said she hopes to work with tribal leaders going forward.
The Atlantic Coast Conference has voted to accept a multi-billion-dollar settlement from the NCAA to pay student athletes. Other collegiate athletic leaders will need to respond today. The proposed settlement would pay former student athletes who did not benefit from name, image, and likeness, or NIL, since 2016. It also includes a new revenue sharing system that will require schools to commit $20 million per year for 10 years to pay student athletes directly.
A teen in Texas demonstrates courage as he delivers a powerful valedictorian speech dedicated to his father, only hours after attending his father's funeral.
Pretend I want to be doing the speech right now, but I can't throw something away that he worked so hard for me to achieve. And that's why I'm going to go to college, and I'm going to spend every hour of every day working as hard as I can to achieve all of my goals, because that's what he wanted, and I'm going to do it for him. And I want all of you to look to your loved ones and say you wouldn't do the same. Because I know the type of teacher they are.
Wow, 18-year-old Alam Hajic, he says that he still had the muddy shoes that he wore when he buried his father. He says that he went ahead with the speech because his father was the reason he ended up at the top of his class. Hajic will be attending the University of Texas at Austin in the fall.
Wow. Local police departments will carry the torch in support of the Special Olympics for North Carolina. The Fayetteville Police Department is teaming up with officers from Hope Mills, Spring Lake, and Cumberland counties. Sheriff Ennis Wright for the law enforcement torch run. Each May, members of law enforcement carry the flame of hope through communities across the state, culminating in Raleigh at the end of the month.
Coming up on 10 minutes before 5 on our Thursday. It's going to be a hot Thursday here today and a severe weather risk. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
We do have that level 1 risk for it today. It's likely to be on the later side, mid to late afternoon into the evening before we start to see the storms developing. Damaging wind, heavy rain, hail, all a possibility with these storms today. This is a look at the big picture. We've been following this very slow moving, almost stalled front back to our west. It will gradually slide in here this weekend and stall out and lose some of its energy. We're not likely to have all day rain any day this weekend. It's just going to feel a lot more like summer, turning hotter and more humid. We'll feel that today with the afternoon and evening thunderstorms, and we'll see that chance of storms each afternoon all the way into the beginning of next week. Here's how today is likely to play out, and you can see those showers and thunderstorms rolling through. I didn't mean for it to go through quite that quickly, but you get the idea for those mid to late afternoon storms that continue all the way into potentially early tomorrow morning. Pretty moon out there. As a matter of fact, that moon is full right now as it's hanging over the historic town hall there in Zebulon, looking beautiful. They were just watering the grass. And, you may think, well, we've got, 5 days worth of rain in our forecast. Well, it's going to be that thunderstorm activity where, one day you might see it and the next day you may not. It'll be popping up around our viewing area, but, we don't always see them in across the entire viewing area each day. 71 our temperature right now with that south wind at 8 miles per hour. Again, we have the tower lit in blue this morning for mainly clear skies. A little bit of cloud cover starting to sneak in. And thanks to Bobby Brown in Enfield for this gorgeous view of the clouds reflected in her pond. So pretty out there. We want to see what's happening in your backyard. Go to WRAL.com and select Weather Watchers. Around town today, hot. 92 in Raleigh, 91 in Durham, and 92 in Fayetteville. 92 is the hottest temperature that we've reached so far this year. And our dew point is settled at tolerable. Now, if our dew point was a lot higher, we would see a much bigger heat index, but it'll actually feel like mid-90s this afternoon. We're not going to see those temperatures feeling like triple digits just yet, but we'll be in the mid-90s for the heat index all the way through Monday before we start to cool things down a little bit next week. Checking the 7-day forecast again, 92 today, likely hitting 91 again on Sunday and 89 on Monday. So it's going to be hot and sticky. And of course, we'll have that chance for afternoon and evening storms all the way through the holiday weekend. Some changes ahead for next week. It may end up being a little bit cooler by next Wednesday.
We like the sound of that. Barbie is honoring some of the top female athletes in the world as part of its 65th anniversary celebration.
I mean, there's moments in life that you can't even dream about. I never thought that I would be, made as a Barbie doll.
We'll hear from tennis star Venus Williams on how she hopes this helps to inspire the next generation of girls.
President Biden will host the president of Kenya tonight at the White House for a state dinner. Who will perform for those world leaders?